Okay, proceed. Okay, this is just around 70% of what's in your syllabus lah. Okay, there's a lot more in your syllabus, which are like facts most of the time. So I didn't pick it up. I just pick it up. What are the salient points and what are the things that asked in Viva? Okay, the way you want to answer it. Okay, so cardiac cycle. So what is a cardiac cycle? It's a complete sequence of systole and diastole. Keep it simple that way. For an heart rate of 70 minutes, it's around 0.8 seconds. Phases of systole, you don't have to know the exact timing. Okay, you have to know there's 3 different phases. Okay, in phases. Some people omit this. Okay, protodiastole. So you have to at least mention isovolumetric contraction and isotonic contraction. Okay, that's how it starts. Okay, then we go to diastole. We have isovolumetric relaxation, rapid filling phase, diastasis, and it's end with atrial systole. The atrial systole is very important, the atrial kick. Okay, the final filling. Okay, so what happens in your cardiac cycle is the phase of systole and diastole. Okay, it's just one, there will be a pressure changes in the chambers. Okay, with the pressure chambers, there will be a volume changes. Okay, pressure, volume. Okay, these pressure and volume changes are secondary to opening and closing of the valves. Okay, causing emptying and filling of the each chambers. That's what we need. So we're going to start off from here. So everyone take a piece of paper, draw a curve on X, no need to label it, just Y-axis and X-axis. Draw this aortic curve first, the one in blue. Okay, so that shows the pressure changes in your left ventricle, right? Okay, what happens at the first part is after the atrial systole, okay, atrial systole ends, is the end of diastole, right? Atrial systole, it means at this moment, the heart is filled, right? The heart is filled. So when the heart is filled, the mitral valve is closed. Mitral valve is closed. Mitral valve is from your left atrium to left ventricle. Final atrial kick, the mitral valve closes. So now LV is a closed chamber. Aortic valve not yet open. This is your mitral valve. I'm going to omit the right side now. Left atrium, left ventricle, aortic valve. Okay, this is closed, this is closed. Now left ventricle is a closed chamber. In the closed chamber, because of the volume is filled, pressure is building up, right? Pressure is building up, but there is no change in volume. Nothing is regurgitating, nothing is coming, unless patient has severe MR. Okay, we are talking about LT heart. Okay, so it's a closed chamber with no movement of blood from the chamber. So that causes increase in the pressure within the left ventricle, causing isovolumetric contraction. Okay, it means there is increase in pressure without change in volume. Okay, next I want you all to draw this aortic graph on top of it. Just put a label at 120, there's around 80 and maximum. So you draw it at the 80, starts at 80 and goes up to 120. So the peak of your LV, so earlier you all draw this, right? Okay, this is your atrial systole, it starts here. So here will be your 80, here will be your 120. So you're going to draw your aortic graph here, just like that, on top of it. So what does it show is, once your aortic pressure was under 80 millimeter mercury, okay, it's after 80 millimeter mercury, your pressure in aorta and left ventricle equals. At the point where it goes above your 80 millimeter mercury, your BP, normal BP is under 20/80, right? Just remember that. Under 20/80 is related to the aortic pressure. Okay? The lowest pressure of aorta is under 80, highest pressure is under 20 in an LT adult. That's why BP always take it under 20/80. Okay? It's related to the aortic pressure. Okay? So when it's go above 80, your aortic valve forced open. Because your left ventricular pressure now exceeds the aortic pressure. Earlier, aortic pressure higher. Okay? Left ventricle cannot push the aortic valve open. Right? Now, what happens? The left ventricular pressure become higher than the aortic valve. It push open the aortic valve. So that's when your blood from the LV is moving into your aorta. Okay? After that, the moment volume is losing for the left ventricle ventricular volume drops, so as the pressure. The moment pressure drops below 80, the aortic valve closes because your aortic pressure higher than your left ventricular pressure. So this is the part. Okay, you can see this a bit of notch there, the dichrotic notch. So what does the dichrotic notch signify? Closure of aortic valve causing a bulge, right? Bulge. So the backward pressure. So then continuously your volume in your left ventricle drops. So that is an isovolumetric relaxation. Okay, the full ejection has occurred. Your volume now LV is empty, aortic is closed, MV is not, mitral valve is not open yet. Again, they went into a closed cavity state. So in this space, anytime both the valves are closed, you are end up in your isovolumetric state. Earlier was isovolumetric contraction, now is isovolumetric relaxation. Then followed by your diastole, where you have your rapid inflow, diastasis, and atrial systole. The diastole part is quite easy to understand. People get it wrong in the systole part. We talked about isovolumetric contraction and isotonic contraction, right? Just now we talked about rapid ejection, right? The rapid ejection followed by a slow ejection, that whole phase is called as isotonic contraction. Because during that part, pressure doesn't change, it's just the volume is changing. Because volume is ejecting out from your left ventricle towards your aorta. So the isotonic contraction has two components, but usually when you draw a Wigger's diagram, you can just put it as ejection. You don't have to put it as two. Okay? And then the last part of protodiastole also people just omit it because it's very short, 0.04 seconds. That's why people just omit it and they straight away go to isovolumetric relaxation. It just occurs very fast. Okay? So that's why you can omit it. So what I'm trying to say is when you draw your Wigger's diagram, you can just keep it into isovolumetric contraction and a rapid ejection phase, or just put ejection phase there. In bracket, you can write the isotonic contraction. If in Viva they ask you where's the isotonic contraction, you're going to show the part where the left ventricle taking a round shape at the upper there. Up. Okay, so the isotonic contraction is the phase between aortic valve open and it ends when the aortic valve close. Okay, correct? So that's about it. So we look at it, then the pressure drops. The moment the LV pressure drops below your atrial pressure, your mitral valve opens again. So starts your filling. So this is your isovolumetric relaxation. Your isovolumetric relaxation ends the moment your mitral valve opens. It means during that part, your atrial pressure higher than your ventricular pressure. So atrial pressure push open the mitral valve. Then the filling starts, the diastole phase starts. Okay? So diastole is longer, slightly longer compared to your heart rate. Okay, your heart rate determines your diastolic period, right? We'll come into it later. Okay, we're just going to talk about LV. You don't have to worry about the atrial graph yet. Okay, atrial graph is related to your central venous pressure waveform, right? We'll come into it. Okay, when they ask you to draw Wigger's diagram, first what I will do, I'll just draw you just put X and Y axis without labeling first. You label, then you're difficult to adjust it. And you draw the LV curve only first. LV curve is easy to draw, right? You just make a turn here, there, settle. Then you draw your aortic curve by labeling 80 and 120 only. Then you can draw this part. Correct? So done. Then you just draw a small graph down here, just when the point where interject to show one part where your LV going up against your atrial pressure. If they ask you to superimpose your atrial, most of the time they don't ask. Sometimes if it's a continuation question, let's say in your Viva, they'll usually ask you to write the Wigger's diagram, LV aorta pressure curve, because the name itself mentioned left ventricular aorta pressure curve. It's a Wigger's diagram mean LV aorta time pressure time curve. It doesn't say LV aorta atrial pressure time curve, right? So you draw these only. Then they will ask you, can you superimpose atrial pressure or CVP pressure on this Wigger's diagram? That is a continuing question. If you aim me for distinction, you draw lah. So if you ask me, no, because by question, it's LV aorta pressure time curve. Then we superimpose the atrial pressure curve. We'll come into it. Okay? But basically, whenever one chamber pressure exceeds another chamber, the valve will force open. Okay? That's the idea of it. Okay, just for explanation here, this what shows is what I mentioned here. You see, at this part, We say it is isovolumetric, right? The volume didn't change, right? Plateau. This is the isotonic part where volume changes, pressure doesn't change, right? This is just to show the volume changes. We are not going to ask you to draw that. Okay, what makes sure here is that you don't look at the ECG first, look at the heart sound. We know heart sound. First heart sound are secondary to mitral valve and tricuspid valve. Secondary heart sound are to pulmonary and aortic. So now we are talking only side the left side of the heart. So it's mitral valve and aortic. So S1, S2. So if we know this is the S1, it's not during opening. Heart sounds are only during closure. Next, we're going to talk at the ECG. Okay, ECG is a electrical activity. Cardiac cycle is a mechanical activity. So electrical have to come first, then only the mechanical comes in. So just show you. Okay, see, this is the atrial systole, right? What is atrial systole signifies in your ECG? P wave. So P wave comes first, then your atrial systole. QRS is very short because this is your isovolumetric contraction, right? This is the part the rapid ejection occurs, right? So this is your QRS. Q starts here, QRS, but after like 1-2 seconds, you get your isovolumetric and continued by your isotonic contraction. Okay, then it ends here until here, then T repolarization starts here, right? After the T wave. So this is your diastole. The mitral valve closes, mitral valve opens, and your diastole starts. That's where your T wave ends. The end of T wave is the start of your filling. So this is just in words, whatever I mentioned. Similar changes occurs in RV and RA. Okay, but peak LV pressure 20. It's much a smaller diaphragm. That's it. Exact same thing occurs on the right side of the heart. The whole thing is shrunk because the pressure changes are very limited. Okay, the RV pressure systolic is only 20 to 25, 15 to 20. Sorry, 15 to 20. And pulmonary diastolic pressure is the equivalent of your aortic pressure. Okay. So this is just repetition of it. If you look into this, they mentioned where the valve is closing and opening. LV diastole, we have talked about it. Okay, the important part is rapid filling phase, 60%. This is for your last time MTF, multiple true false question comes in. Now SBA, I don't know how we're going to do it, all these things. Okay, so but all these are important points. Whatever that I've highlighted or colored means all these are important for MTF or SBA. Okay, this is just important. Okay, now we come to arterial pressure waveform, which is superimposed earlier. Okay, in exam when they ask about arterial pressure waveform, we're going to draw now. Okay, so what we're going to draw, the idea is we have 1, 2, 3 mountain and 2 descent. Okay, so we're going to draw, one big mountain followed by a small mountain. Your descent doesn't come yet, right? A and C. I'll explain what is A and C. This is not permanent. Okay. So A and C. Understand? Then comes your first descent, the X descent. First comes your first descent, then followed by your another mountain, then followed by your Y descent. So X and Y. Okay. If you're gonna counter to the ECG, okay, if you're gonna superimpose on your ECG, A stands for atrial systole. So it should be after the P wave. The C stands for tricuspid. So it's C wave bulging of tricuspid during isovolumetric contraction means ventricle is contracting. Don't go into that. We just look into it. A is for atrial systole. C is for contraction. Okay, contraction means ventricular contraction occurs after your QRS, right? So mechanical activity QRS comes at the end, the peak of R, you get your C bulge. Okay, then comes the X descent. We come to the descent later, X descent. Then finally, at the end of T wave, I said just now, the end of T wave means repolarization starts, right? Diastole starts. It means your left ventricle is getting filled again. So there is an increase in pressure, right? So another descent, V. Why V? Venous return. Remember, it's venous return. Means left ventricle is getting filled. Then X descent after isovolumetric contraction. So this is, I'd say, C is your contraction, right? RV contraction. So isovolumetric contraction ends, right? At the end of your isovolumetric contraction, the final pull, right? Final pushing, like your left ventricle is, right ventricle contracting, right? The final one, the pressure, what it does is squeeze, right? You have your fibrous rings. If you look at your heart, you get a fibrous ring that attached to your valve, right? that squeeze will pull the fibrous, which causing a vacuum inside your RA. They're trying to pull whatever is inside. The final contraction is pulling, means they're squeezing everything from RA into RV. So that causes a negative pressure. Okay, negative pressure in your RA causing it to descend. If you take it this as a baseline, just imagine that's the baseline here. So this is your going below lah. Okay, the pressure is reaching almost zero, right? That's the descent. Then your RV, your pulmonary valve closes. When your RV contract, your pulmonary valve open, right? So now pulmonary valve close and your tricuspid valve open again. Diastasis. So that's when you have your RA filling against a closed tricuspid valve. Okay, this is RA being filled. Okay, this is before the next valve open. Now RV is a cavity that is closed from below and up. Pulmonary valve is closed, tricuspid valve is closed. Right? RA is being filled now. Venous return, right? RA is being filled. Okay, so when the RA is being filled, that is your RA filling against a closed tricuspid valve. Causes this increase in this. So the V, that's why it stands for venous return. Or the earlier I said filling of ventricle, is it? Sorry, filling of atrium. Filling of atrium. Okay, filling of atrium. Then finally, your Y descent is passive filling of RV as the tricuspid valve opens. Now your RA is filled. Once your RA is filled, your tricuspid valve open, then your RV is being filled. That causes passive filling of RV as the tricuspid valve open. So when the passive filling of RV means RA is being emptied. So the pressure in RA drops. This is not about the ventricle, this is about atrium. Okay, so whenever atrium emptying it, the pressure drops. Whenever venous return comes into it, the pressure rises. So again, mention about this lah. Okay, so A wave, end diastole, atrial contraction at the end of diastole lah, right? That is your ECG changes to your phases of cardiac cycle and mechanical event. This we talked just now. So A wave immediately following P wave, C wave is the peak of R and X descent, and V wave at the TP interval. From the T is end of T, right? Before the next P, next atrial kick, right? That is the repolarization phase, right? In your ECG, that is your filling phase. So that's where so that's why you see this is a long pause here, this one. Right? These two are very nearby, right? Because your diastole occurs here. Okay?